famous basketball coach, as many of you know. And Dean Smith always said this. He said that when the heat is on, the cream of the crop will rise to the top. Well, Christians are the cream of the crop. We are the cream of the crop. And guess what? The heat is on right now. We need to rise to the top. What he was meaning is the best ball players, when it comes down to crunch time, he coached James Worthy, Michael Jordan. He coached some of the greats of all time in college. And, hey, when the heat is on, I want those guys have got to come up and they got to perform and they've got to come together and win this ball game. When the heat is on, the cream of the crop will rise to the top. And that's what we're supposed to do as the cream of crop in God's world. We are to rise to the top. But we have to understand that there are going to be things that get in the way, and we cannot let little things get in our way. Jesus says this in Matthew 10. He says this, "See, I am sending you out like sheep into the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Beware of them, for they will hand you over to councils and flog you in their synagogues, and you will be dragged before governors and kings because of me, as a testimony to them and the Gentiles. When they hand you over, do not worry about how you are to speak or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given you at that time. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will betray brother to death, and the father his child, and children will rise up against parents and have them put to death. And you will be hated by all because of my name, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. For truly I tell you, you will not have gone through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. A disciple is not above the teacher, nor a slave above the master. It is enough for the disciple to be like the teacher, and the slave like the master. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebul, which means the devil, how much more will they malign those of his house?" Yes, we're made fun of. Yes, a lot of times people malign Christians. They take us out of context. There's all sorts of things. But I'm going to tell you this. It's time for the cream of the crop to rise up. We need to stand upon Jesus. We don't need to fear any of these things. And when that heat is on, we need to come forward and be the best for Jesus Christ. He says we're the salt of the earth for a reason. We're here to preserve. We're here to keep. We're here to do all these things that God has called us to do. He says you're the light of the world. Yes, we're here to be the light and the salt. And we're to rise up like the cream when the heat is on. I pray today that when conflict comes, when difficulties come as we're going through right now, that you will rise up in Jesus Christ and rise to the top as the cream and be that in Christ. You are the cream. You are the salt. You are the light of this world. And I pray today that God will